Black Myth Wukong has now been out for over 2 days to tremendous success, which is of course causing the game journalists out there to melt down. But it gets even better than that, because now we've got PC Gamer reporting that Game Science, the studio behind the game, refuses to even acknowledge questions about that bogus hit piece from IGN just a couple of months ago. Welcome back to Words of Paradise. I'm your host, Leon Idle, and yes, from PC Gamer, we asked Black Myth Wukong's developer about the controversy over its founder's past sexist remarks, but Game Science's only reply was no comment. They are not going to give these journalists even an ounce, nothing to roll with, nothing for another hit piece. They're looking for every single opportunity to try and drag this game. Why? Because it was made part of the culture war. Unnecessarily, might I add. In fact, that only served to likely boost the game's numbers, but that's neither here nor there. The fact of the matter is, they are mauling over the success of this game because it shows everything we've been saying for the last 10 years, give or take, has been absolutely correct. So we're going to get into this article. Before we do, hit that subscribe button. I'm a nerdy news channel. I cover nerdy news every day, and I am loving the success of Black Myth Wukong. I'm loving the coping and seething of the game journalists in reference to it, but really, I'm just happy to see a game that actually does everything it wants to do with no compromise of their artistic integrity succeeding. Yes, Black Myth Wukong has set the second highest peak player record in Steam's history, a spectacular launch for the Chinese action RPG that put it top of the global sellers list. It's also a great game. We called it a mythical action RPG with remarkably bizarre characters and daring boss battles in our 87% review. That should be the only story for Black Myth Wukong today, but it's not. Why isn't it? Right. Because you, the game journalist, PC Gamer specifically, but several others, IGN, Kotaku, Polygon, the list goes on, tried to make a mountain out of a molehill, tried to cause controversy about this game, because the only way anyone will click on your websites, you give these clickbait titles, and people think, oh, what's going on? Why is there a controversy about this game that really, in all reality, should be nothing focused other than the game itself? How does it play? What was the studio like? Did they make a great, compelling gameplay loop that's unseen in modern gaming? What is the method behind their madness? But no, instead, you want to inject your identity politics into every facet of a game, even where it is not needed, because that is the only way you can push your message. That's the only way you can sort of broaden the idea of this modern audience that doesn't actually exist. What would otherwise be a celebratory launch, and it was and still is a celebratory launch, by the way, has been dogged by controversy the studio Game Science seems unwilling to address. Controversy that you manufactured, you and your irresponsible, disgusting ilk manufactured. So yes, they are unwilling to address it. Why are they unwilling to address it? They shouldn't need to. They say, hey, we game developer, we make game come out good, you buy game. It is that simple. And no, that was not a half-assed attempt at an Asian accent, although looking back on it, that does work kind of well considering the game is from China. Streamer guidelines for Black Myth Wukong leaked before release, revealing a list of don'ts that included feminist propaganda, fetishization, and other content that instigates negative discourse.
Holy shit, I'm gonna come.
Yes, they did put these out here, and you wanna know what? It was a good call. It was something they absolutely should have done, because so many individuals, again, from Kotaku, from PC Gamer, from Polygon, will take any opportunity to find something Western and political, because let's be real, these sorts of things that they're talking about, the feminism, the fetishization, ain't really a problem over in the East. This is quite literally a Western concept because of our left versus right dichotomy. This should have no bearing on the video games, but yeah, so they said, hey, we're going to be giving you a review copy of the game. As part of the rules, since we are helping you, since we are giving you this for your business, you have to follow some guidelines. Those guidelines include not making it about your dumbass Western politics. It really should be that simple. But of course, you're trying to paint the picture that, oh, it instigates negative discourse. No, it just removes discourse from anything that isn't about the game itself, as well as content related to China's game industry policies, opinions, news, etc. The restrictions came from co-publisher Hero Games, were not shared with PC Gamer or other press outlets. Of course, streamers and everyone else immediately started talking about the topics they were forbidden from talking about. The Streisand effect never failed. It's so funny you recognize the Streisand effect never failing now, when for the last several months, if not several years, you've been like, oh, well, why are games journalists being targeted? Why are games journalists being harassed? Why is every content creator under the sun that has any sort of semblance of fixation on video games talking so negatively about us? The Streisand effect, motherfuckers! How do you understand it now, but not then? Or did you understand it then? You were just trying to play innocent, trying to play the victim, as you were wont to do, because you can't be the hero if we're exposing you as the absolute scumbag villains you are. Tip of the hat, Alyssa Mercante. Heard you're getting a little bit lawsuit happy. We'll see how that goes. It's impossible to see those other streamer guidelines as an extension of the crude and sexist comments made by Game Science founders, as reported in a widely shared IGN report on how the studio's history of sexism is complicating its journey to the West. A report that has been shown on multiple occasions to be completely downplayed, that, hey, this report, it was actually mostly fabricated, it was translated poorly. I mean, folks have debunked it over and over, and yet for whatever reason, you're still wasting your precious, valuable interview time trying to talk about the game by harassing them. Those are your words. You use them all the time. Harassing. Game Science has largely refrained from interviews, at least with the Western press. Good. Since early in Black Myth development, but I spoke with a representative of the studio in late July to talk about the making of its adaptation of Journey to the West for PC Gamer magazine. During my interview, I asked the representative, who asked to be credited as a member of the studio rather than by name, if they could address the details in the report. We have no comment. We're sorry. Game Science said via translator, we're only looking to answer questions related to the game and the gameplay. Based is what we call that right in this here household. Yes, they come in and say, we're going to do an interview. We're going to do an interview about this game. So keep your questions about the goddamn game. It was a frustrating answer, considering we spent a good chunk of the interview discussing the studio. It shouldn't be a frustrating answer. You should be like, oh, you know what? That makes sense. If we're going to talk to you about a video game, let's keep the questions to the game. But you can't have the answer. You can't have somebody who works in the video game industry, who works on a game, who's passionate and cares about the product they're putting out, and not have it relate in some fashion to your Western left versus right dichotomy, your culture war narrative. This, oh, this is so problematic, feminist, this, oh, look at all these angry gamer chuds, Gamergate that. No, it makes you maul on the inside that you can't get them to adhere to your narrative, because they know what's going to be done. You want to know how they know what's going to be done? One, they have the internet just like all the rest of us. It's heavily restricted because, you know, communism in China. So yeah, but they still have the internet. They see what the West is doing. They see the downfall that's happening because of our infighting. They see how you paint games that, you know, don't have a certain message that you like in a bad light. Also, they just don't care about your discourse. Let's be real, if you even want to call it discourse. It was a frustrating answer, considering we spent a good chunk of the interview discussing the studio's growth from a small team to one large enough to take on a AAA single-player game, and the Game Science founders' first crack at adapting Journey to the West in previous MMO. Our conversation wasn't limited to the minutiae of gameplay, but the no comment was the same Game Science provided to The Guardian during a hands-on preview in July. Again, as they should have. Every single time someone comes up to these guys and says, hey, let's talk about these, frankly, these accusations that lack any sort of credibility about your past supposed sexist comments, as if that even actually fucking matters in the grand scheme of things, and you keep saying no comment. That's right, keep lining them up. Game Science gonna keep slapping them back down. Since we've been discussing the changes of finding staff for such an ambitious game, the initial wowzer of a reveal trailer was partly designed to help recruit new talent. I asked again if you asked again after you've been told no?
Stop it. Get some help.
Do these guys ever learn? I asked myself that, but no, of course the answer is no. Also, I say guys, I'm sorry, I shouldn't assume your gender. Since you're a game journalist, you're probably some sort of tranny if I had to assume. Game Science, the reply again was no comment. I don't know if Game Science leadership simply believed there was nothing wrong with its past sexually suggestive recruitment posters, because there wasn't. Just throwing it out there. There was literally nothing wrong with any of that nonsense, but you want to, again, make mountains out of molehills over stuff that matters not at all, or think responding will only cause them more issues. No, responding won't cause any issues. In fact, saying no comment is the sort of thing that will get them even more press, because then you're gonna have homies like me and Hypnotic and Smash JT all making all making videos about how hilarious it is that they are just smacking down your dumbass questions, and that's gonna get people to watch our videos and go, oh man, look at this base studio. I'll take 12 copies of Black Myth Wukong. Do they still hold opinions like the ones co-founder Yang Qi posted on blogging website Weibo in 2013? Well, I hope they hold those opinions, because clearly holding those opinions made one badass game. Stating games men like and games women like are determined by biological conditions. They are, by the way. Anyone who watches me knows this is 100% the case. Men and women are biologically different. On average, they will enjoy different types of video games. That's just factually accurate. When they started making Barbie video games on the PlayStation 1, odds are they knew that a bunch of dudes weren't gonna buy Barbie's Magical Adventure. That's just general marketing and understanding of human fucking biology. When you were holding a heavy machine gun and shooting at governments in your dreams, the ladies were dreaming about bags and that would make their friends jealous. He wrote, according to IGN's translation. Again, based squared. And I also say they wrote, according to IGN's translation. How do we even know that translation is accurate? If it is accurate, that's still a factual statement. Women and men care about different things. That is why we function as a species. The yin and the yang. It really is that simple. And of course, these guys are Asian. They understand the yin and the yang very well. If game science doesn't stand by that sort of past questionable behavior, why not apologize for it with a simple statement?
That's stupid! You're stupid! Stop being stupid!
There is no reason for them to apologize. They should not have to apologize for a goddamn thing. What they should have to apologize for is giving a bad game, but they didn't give a bad game, so there's nothing to apologize for. What is your fixation on making sure that this Asian company, this Chinese company, that released a banger game that's now sitting at the #2 spot of the Steam all-time peak charts? What is your fixation with getting them to apologize? Why do you think that their culture is so bad, so low, so poor, that they must conform to your Western sensibilities, you arrogant prick? Sincere or not, there's an easy out that 1,000 celebrities, influencers, and business people have used in the past. Game science has chosen not to take it. Apologizing is not an easy out. Apologizing only ever makes things worse because you never apologize hard enough. The people you apologize to don't forgive you, and then the people that see your apology think that you're a weak piece of shit. No, it's not an easy out. It would only make things worse. It would make people respect them as a company so much less. Again, this is awesome. Perhaps there are some delicate domestic reasons for the game science to avoid commenting, a risk of somehow running afoul of the regulatory bodies that tightly control China's video game market. One complicating detail, for example, is an alleged photo of Key flipping the bird to former Chinese President Mao Zedong, as reported on Yahoo News. But that's pure speculation. Yeah, sure, you'll speculate on that, but you won't even entertain the idea that your buddies over IGN completely and utterly failed at the translation and made this so much more of a problem than it is. This is quite literally one of the most fun situations I've seen in a long time. This game comes out, it gets blown up in sales. To be fair, 80% of which are coming from China. Like, of the over 2 million, 2.5 million people, I believe, playing, 80% of them are in China. So guess what? They know their target audience. They know their target demographic. But even so, once China had gone to sleep and the Steam player count dropped dramatically, there were still over 750,000 people playing concurrently at the time, which means that's 750,000 people. That's almost a milli in the West still actively playing the game. So clearly it's not just made to market to the Chinese sensibilities. There's a lot of people here in the West that actually want to see games that don't cater to your nonsense of feminist this. Oh, we need to make sure we have just an accurate version of representation in every role. We need to make sure there's trans characters. We need to make sure there's women characters. And we need to make sure that there's no male gays. Every woman needs to be ugly and have the massive manly jawline. In fact, I shouldn't even say manly because gender is but a social construct. No, there's a lot of gamers out there, almost a million, that paid $70 for this game day one in the West and are loving it because they could not care less about your bullshit political propaganda that you're trying to force onto the video game industry. And it makes me so happy because that makes you guys cope and seethe. We are seeing the video game industry slowly healing. But those are just my opinions. Let me know yours in the comments down below, or let me know on X where you can find me at Bolt the Word. And please do subscribe. I am a nerdy news channel. I cover nerdy news every day. Not always about Black Myth, Wukong, or what's going on in the modern video game industry, but anime, movies, music, Magic the Gathering, you name it. Check me out on Instagram at wordsofparadise_Leon and become a member for $4.99 a month. You can join the Discord, choose the articles I go over on a day-to-day basis, choose the videos I react to on my Friday night live streams, and of course get involved with over 80 other vital idols. We are a bright, beautiful, glowing, vibrant community that I cannot wait to grow even further because we do care about diversity, but only one kind of diversity of thought. If that's interesting to you, join the Discord, hit subscribe, and until next time, it is all here in the Nerdosphere. This has been Words of Paradise.